The happiest day of my life turned into a nightmare in less than 30 seconds. I was standing at the altar, holding Ethan's hands, smiling through happy tears as our closest friends and family watched us, prepared to exchange our vows. Everything was perfect. The flowers, the music, the sunset, even the gentle breeze felt like it had been planned just for us. Then my father stood up. "Ladies and gentlemen," he shouted, his voice echoing across the outdoor venue, "I object to this marriage." The music stopped instantly. The guests froze. I felt Ethan squeeze my hand, but I couldn't move. I stared at my father, convinced he was making some terrible joke. He wasn't smiling. He slowly walked toward the altar, his expensive suit perfectly pressed, his expression colder than I had ever seen. Then he turned toward Ethan. "You don't deserve my daughter." The entire audience gasped. Before Ethan could answer, my father pulled out a folder and threw it onto the floor between us. Photographs scattered across the white aisle. Fake bank statements, edited text messages, printed emails. "This man is a fraud," my father yelled. "He's marrying Athena for her inheritance." Whispers spread through the crowd. Some guests picked up the papers. Others looked at Ethan with disappointment. I felt my heart breaking. "Dad," I whispered, "please stop." But he wasn't finished. He pointed directly at Ethan and said, "The moment this ceremony ends, I'll make sure everyone knows who you really are." Ethan remained calm. He didn't argue. He didn't yell. Instead, he quietly looked at me and said, "Athena, trust me." I wanted to, but everything was happening so fast. Then my father smiled. It wasn't the smile of a loving parent. It was the smile of someone who believed he had already won. What he didn't know was that our wedding planner had convinced us to livestream the entire ceremony for relatives overseas who couldn't attend. More than 42,000 people were already watching online. Every accusation, every insult, every fake piece of evidence, every cruel word. It was all being broadcast live, and among those thousands of viewers was someone my father never expected to be watching. Someone who knew the truth behind every lie he had just told. Within minutes, one notification would appear on the live stream, and it would destroy everything my father had spent years trying to protect. His reputation, his business, his perfect public image. The man who wanted to humiliate my fiancé in front of a few hundred guests was about to humiliate himself in front of the entire world. The whispers grew louder with every passing second. Some guests stepped away from Ethan. Others stared at me with sympathy, as if my future had just collapsed in front of them. I looked at my father. He stood confidently at the altar, convinced he had saved me from making the biggest mistake of my life. Then my wedding planner hurried toward me, holding her phone with a pale expression. "Athena," she whispered, "the live stream is still on." My heart skipped a beat. "What?" She nodded. "We've already had over 40,000 viewers, and the number is climbing." My father laughed. "Good," he said loudly. "Now everyone can see what kind of man your fiancé really is." He had no idea that every word he spoke was being recorded, not just by cameras at the venue, but by thousands of people watching live from around the world. The comments began pouring in faster than anyone could read them. At first, people believed him. "Poor bride. Cancel the wedding. This guy looks guilty." Then, everything changed. A blue checkmark account joined the live stream. The username caught my attention immediately. Michael Harper, Harper Financial Group. I knew that name. Michael Harper was one of the most respected businessmen in the state, and one of my father's biggest clients. A pinned comment suddenly appeared on the screen. "Those documents are fake. I have the originals." The room fell silent. My father frowned. "What nonsense is this?" Before anyone could react, another verified account commented, "I'm Ethan's accountant. Every accusation is false." Then another. "I worked with Ethan for 6 years. He's one of the most honest people I've ever met." Within seconds, hundreds of viewers began defending Ethan. The live stream chat exploded. The hashtag #TookSureJusticeForEthan started appearing over and over again. My father tried to grab the wedding planner's phone. "Turn that off!" he snapped. She stepped back. "I'm sorry, sir. I can't. It's already being shared." I watched the live viewer count jump from 42,000 to 60,000, then 80,000. My father looked around nervously for the first time. His confidence was beginning to crack. Then my phone vibrated. A private message had arrived from an unknown number. It contained only one sentence. "Don't stop the live stream. I'm on my way with proof." I stared at the message, confused. Who was it? How did they know what was happening? Before I could reply, I heard the screech of tires outside the venue. A black SUV stopped at the entrance. Everyone turned to look. A woman stepped out carrying a laptop and a sealed evidence box. The moment my father saw her, the color drained from his face. He whispered one terrified word. Impossible. The woman walked calmly through the stunned crowd, never taking her eyes off my father. She was dressed in a navy business suit, carrying a laptop in one hand and a sealed evidence box in the other. My father took an uneasy step backward. "What are you doing here?" he demanded. She ignored him and stopped in front of me. "Athena," she said softly. "My name is Rachel Brooks. I was your father's compliance director for 8 years." The entire venue fell silent. Rachel held up her employee ID before placing the evidence box on a nearby table. "I resigned 3 months ago because I refused to help him frame Ethan." Gasps echoed across the ceremony. My father's face turned pale. "She's lying," he shouted. Rachel calmly opened the box. Inside were signed contracts, original bank records, emails, and a portable hard drive. She turned to the wedding planner. "May I connect this to the live stream?" The planner nodded. Within seconds, Rachel's laptop appeared on the giant screen behind the altar. More than 120,000 people were now watching live. Rachel opened the first folder. "These are the original bank statements." She placed them beside the fake copies my father had thrown onto the aisle. The differences were obvious. Dates had been changed. Amounts had been edited. Entire pages had been forged. A wave of whispers swept through the guests. Then Rachel opened another file. This email wasn't written by Ethan. She clicked once. The metadata shows it was created from your father's office computer 11 days ago. My father tried to interrupt. "That's fabricated!" Rachel smiled. "It would be if your own IT department hadn't backed up every company server." She displayed the server logs. My father's employee ID appeared on the screen. The exact time, the exact computer, the exact document. Every guest could see it. The live stream chat exploded. Thousands of comments flooded the screen. "He forged the evidence. Save the recording. This is insane." I turned toward Ethan. "I'm so sorry." He gently wiped away my tears. "You never stopped believing in me," he whispered. "You were just trapped between the truth and the man who raised you." Then Rachel opened one final video file. The room became silent again. It showed my father sitting inside his office with 2 private investigators. His voice was unmistakable. "I don't care what it costs. Ruin Ethan before the wedding. Once Athena loses trust in him, she'll never leave my control." Another investigator asked, "And if someone discovers the truth?" My father laughed. "They won't. By the time anyone figures it out, the wedding will already be over." The video ended. No one spoke. No one defended him. Even his closest business partners quietly stood up and walked away. For the first time in my life, I saw fear in my father's eyes. The man who had come to destroy my fiancé had unknowingly destroyed himself. In front of over 150,000 live viewers, the silence that followed felt endless. My father stood in the middle of the aisle, surrounded by hundreds of guests, yet he had never looked more alone. His expensive suit, his confident smile, his powerful reputation, everything had fallen apart in a matter of minutes. The livestream viewer count crossed 200,000. People from different countries were watching as the truth unfolded in real time. My father looked at me with desperate eyes. "Athena, please," he said quietly. "Let's end the live stream and talk as a family." For years, those words would have worked on me, but not anymore. I slowly shook my head. "You didn't try to protect your family today. You tried to destroy it." Tears rolled down my cheeks, but my voice never shook. "You humiliated the man I love in front of everyone. And now, the world knows who you really are." He lowered his head. For the first time in my life, he had no excuse. No lie, no one left to manipulate. Rachel stepped beside me and handed me one final envelope. "Your mother asked me to keep this safe," she said. "She wanted you to have it if you ever discovered the truth." My hands trembled as I opened it. Inside was a handwritten letter from my late mother. "My beautiful Athena, if you're reading this, it means you've finally seen the truth. Never mistake control for love. A parent should protect your happiness, not own your future. Choose the people who stand beside you, not the ones who stand in your way. I'm already proud of the woman you've become." I couldn't hold back my tears. It felt like my mother was standing beside me, reminding me that real love never comes with fear. I folded the letter carefully, looked at Ethan, and smiled. "I'm ready to marry you." The guests burst into applause. The minister smiled warmly and asked if we wished to continue. "Absolutely," Ethan answered without hesitation. A few moments later, we exchanged our vows. When the minister finally announced, "I now pronounce you husband and wife," the entire venue erupted with cheers. Ethan kissed me, and for the first time that day I felt completely free. Behind us, my father quietly turned and walked away without saying another word. No one stopped him. No one followed him. Within days, clips from the live stream had spread across social media. The recordings led to investigations into forged documents and fraud. Several of my father's business partners cut ties with him, and his carefully crafted public image collapsed under the weight of the truth. As for Ethan and me, we didn't let that painful day define our marriage. We built a life based on honesty, trust, and respect, the very things my father never understood. Sometimes the greatest revenge isn't ruining someone's life. It's living a happy one they could never control. And on the day my father tried to humiliate my fiancé, the whole world witnessed the truth live.